G'day there guys, Connie here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and let's get straight into it. Okie dokie, we're on relationship advice. This one was written by user LuaKij, and it's titled, My boyfriend of 8+ years won't marry me. I've been with my boyfriend for 8.5 years, and we've been living together at his apartment for 5 years. Like any long relationship, we've had our ups and downs, but in the last 2 years, everything has been great. I know he is my person, and I am his. He's a great guy, not just to me, but to friends, family, and strangers. Cares a lot about me, shows affection, communicates well, has financially supported me while I finished my degree, and we have a great time together, both on a daily life basis and on special events like travels at all. We pretty much are already living a married life without kids, but that alone doesn't fulfill my dream of marriage. I want a celebration of our love. I want to share this moment with our friends and family. I want to be a bride and plan this major life event with him, and I've voiced this to him a few times. A few years back, he was unsure of our future together, but we worked on our relationship and are in a great place. So now when I talk about planning a wedding and marriage, he seems to be on board with it. At least he entertains my thoughts. But so far, I haven't seen a ring. I've kind of given him 2 ultimatums. I won't invest any money in buying a bigger place together if we're not married. We've been cramped in his bachelor pad for the last 5 years and are getting tired of it. And I won't celebrate double digits of being boyfriend and girlfriend, but even that seems like too long of a stretch now. But honestly, I don't think I have the courage to walk out of an otherwise perfect relationship, so I just keep dragging this and building resentment with every anniversary. With every time I see the surprised faces of people who ask how long we've been dating, and with every wedding of people in our circle. I just feel stuck while everyone else around us is moving on with their lives. How do I get him to finally propose, or at least admit he won't ever do it so I can be freed of these bad feelings of uncertainty? Edit for clarification and things that have come up in the comments. I'm not from the US, so maybe it's a wedding culture thing there, but from where I'm from, we just love a good party, any party. When the reason for it is to celebrate the love and union of 2 people, it really brings people together in a very unique way. It always gets me emotional, even as just a guest. That's what I love about it and dream of having as a bride. There's nothing to do with having a big fancy event to post on social media and live my Disney princess dreams. Even the ring thing, I was talking about it figuratively. It isn't a tradition for the men to get the fiancé an engagement ring. This just got popular here recently. Usually they both get their wedding bands and wear it on the right hand till the wedding. Legally, I'm sure there are differences between my country and the US, but marriage pretty much affects the same aspects of our lives. Even roommates have contracts, their name's on a lease or something. I don't have any legal ties to him right now. I understand some people can live together for many years without it, but for me this is important to feel secure about our future together. About kids. Since the beginning I knew I didn't want any, and he didn't have a strong opinion about it and was okay with anything I decided. We still talk about having kids, to check on each other and to see where we're at on this matter. I've been having second thoughts, and he's still on board if I decide I do want to, but that's not the reason I'm upset I'm not married after 8 years together. I haven't asked him directly if he wants to get married and why recently, so I haven't gotten a straight answer since a few years back when it was a no. I've been just casually touching on the subjects to try to get a glimpse of where he's at, and he seems positive, acknowledging that we're in a much better place now that we worked on those issues. So after reading all the comments that I wasn't really expecting to get, I realized that the next logical thing is to have a direct and honest conversation with him. I just need to figure out how to approach it. We have a big trip coming up next month, so I'll probably wait after that. Thank you all so much for your input and advice. I appreciate all perspectives. There's got to be a reason he hasn't bent the knee yet though, right? And I have a strange feeling the kids thing might be at the top of that list, and he's just not communicating that. Let's go to those comments. Maybe you try proposing to him, that way you can know if he's up for it at least, since you've constantly raised this multiple times and still no luck. Opie says, I've thought of this, but honestly I think I would resent him more. I don't specifically care about gender roles in this, but being proposed to would give me the certainty that he also wants this and is not just rolling with it. A commenter replies, really? Why ask at all? You have your answer. He won't do it. You've seen countless posts from women here who just want a self-fulfilling party for themselves. Maybe he doesn't want the wedding. He doesn't want the expense. He doesn't want to waste money on this event that only aggrandizes you and fulfills your dreams. What about his dreams? Maybe he dreams of never being married because marriage is just paper. You're already in the best relationship and you're going to ruin it because you need more. He's happy, clearly, but you want more. It's not enough. He's happy, you're not, so go find another man. She replies, I don't know what I said that gave you the impression that I just want this self-fulfilling party, so let me clarify. Weddings are my favorite type of event because friends and family come together to testify and celebrate a couple, not just the bride. No birthday, graduation, or any other major event in life can top that feeling, and that's what I dream of. It doesn't matter if it's a huge destination wedding or a small gathering in our hometown. The purpose of the event is what matters to me. It's not a money issue. I don't think people in a relationship need to have the exact same dreams, but they should be supportive of each other. If he ever mentioned he dreams of never being married, I would know we're not compatible, but that's not the case. I won't even get to the marriage is just a paper thing because it's not. He could walk out of our relationship today with no major implications to his life. Not so easy to do that with a paper signed. It doesn't seem that communicates well works well here for either of you. He should be able to have a conversation with you on how he sees this long term, and you shouldn't give him ultimatums for something like this. Did you ask him honestly what's his view or plan? She says, we communicate well in general. We talk openly about our feelings, sex life, finances, relationship to others, etc. But on this specific topic, I haven't been so direct. Both ultimatums were said more like a joke to see his reaction, and he just played along with it. Having conversations about long-term plans like buying a house or having kids gives me the impression that he sees us together long enough to fulfill these plans. But we haven't had a serious conversation about marriage in a while, 2 years at least. I think I'm avoiding it because I'm afraid to pressure him, so I keep just casually and jokingly mentioning it and trying to read the signs of his responses. You don't mention here why he doesn't want to get married, or what he says when you bring up marriage, besides, a few years back he was unsure of our future together. I feel like this is very relevant information. Opie says, 4 years ago we were not so good, but just living with it like everything was fine. Everything came spiraling down when I finally asked him about our future plans for marriage, so we couldn't just ignore it anymore, and he said that he wasn't happy with how things were between us, so he couldn't see himself in a lifelong commitment with me. That was a really hard conversation, but we both worked to better ourselves and our relationship and are in a great place now. Since this, he has never said he doesn't want to get married. I haven't asked him directly like this again, but we talk about future plans like buying a bigger place together. That's when I said I won't buy anything while I'm legally single, and he agreed. Do you want children or just to be married? I ask only because if you want children and he doesn't, then it's especially unfair not to progress the relationship forward or end it at this point. If children aren't a factor, then you really need to decide if a wedding is worth the relationship. You're already essentially married, just without the legal and financial benefits. Opie replies, neither of us are set on having kids. He said he's on board if I do want to, but so far I don't. I think this is why it's such a dilemma to me. It's not like I have a biological clock ticking to justify my resentment towards not being married, so why is it such a big deal? I honestly don't know, but my feelings about it are big, so here I am. Alrighty, enough comments. On to an update nearly 2 months later. I debated posting an update because now that everything is resolved, I feel kind of silly about posting in the first place, but maybe this can find someone in a similar situation and help. I should add that I'm an overthinker and anxious person, and this is probably why I got here in the first place. After 8+ years of a relationship, I started doubting our future only because of the lack of initiative on his part, and it's like all the algorithms decided to feed these feelings with similar stories that didn't end well, so I started overthinking everything and basically ignored all the signs that we were doing great, like his constant reassurance that he loved me and was happy with me, when he would look at me with mesmerized eyes while just going about our daily life. I felt so loved and cared for, but the lack of a proposal had to mean something was wrong, right? A week before our big trip, while introducing the topic of marriage, trying to start a conversation like I was advised here, he was really dismissive, trying to change subject, and that sent me spiraling down on anxious thoughts. When he realized that hurt me, he immediately backtracked, started apologizing, and said that he was only avoiding the subject because he had something planned and wanted it to be a surprise. When asked on other occasions months before, he had confirmed his intentions of marrying me one day, but this time was different. It was enough to lift any doubt I had, and I also didn't want to ruin any surprise, so I dropped the subject. Then, as expected, during our trip in a beautiful place, doing what we always loved doing together these past 8 years, he proposed. It was one of those moments that I felt really seen, like everything was thought out to make me happy without me having to ask for it. He even managed to record it in the most unsuspicious way, so I'll always have something to remember it. So this update is to say that every relationship is different and every life has a different timeline. There isn't any amount of years that automatically tells you the other person doesn't want to get married. Obviously, I'm not saying to ignore any signs, but you have to look inside the relationship rather than compare to others and seek external validation. Even though most comments on the original post went in a different direction, I probably wouldn't have started that conversation with him when I did, and wouldn't have been so relaxed during our trip when he proposed, so I appreciate you guys for that. Oh, what a great ending. One comment says, "This is the post I needed to read. Congrats, OP. I'm in the similar position with the 1 day answer and now being anxious and waiting for the moment to have the honest conversation. 99% of people on here, especially in the waiting to wed thread, are like, red flag, X years and he will never, dump him." Nervous laughs. So reading this is a breath of fresh air. And OP replies, "Looking back now, the almost 9 years of waiting makes a lot more sense. I've known for a long time that he was the person I wanted to be forever with, but life is not so simple as wanting. We've been through different stages of life together. He's been by my side and supported me through it all, but only now we're in a comfortable place that we can enjoy planning a wedding together. Now I understand it wasn't really a red flag. There wasn't something wrong that I needed to fix. It was just the right timing for us. I hope you can also relax and enjoy when your timing comes." Anxiety and poor communication skills. Always a fun combination, even if the ending was ultimately positive. I'd hate to see her a week before the wedding. I understand why people constantly just wave these topics away with "just propose yourself." But the thing is, that doesn't actually solve the underlying problem. If after almost 10 years in your 30s, conversations about marriage have led to anything but a proposal, there's a reason he doesn't want to do it, and that won't be solved by her proposing. I have a cousin whose husband can't really live with the idea that if they ever separate, she gets anything. He hated the idea that she was on the mortgage of the house they bought, or spent any money on furniture. Apparently one of his exes took everything with her, and instead of healing from it, he let it out on my cousin. The only reason he ever got married to her was that he was stupid enough to knock her up, and she said she wouldn't put him on the birth certificate if he didn't. The marriage is miserable, but they're also stupid enough to just stay married. Geez, talk about two sides of the spectrum. Anyway guys, that's it for that story. As always, give me your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe you got a similar story you'd like to share. Otherwise, moving on to the next one. Okay, same subreddit. This one was written by user Middle Dull, and it's titled, "My boyfriend told me I was prettier before." So I met my boyfriend when I was blonde. No, I'm not naturally blonde, but I bleached it and had it for over a year. I had to cut what once was long brunette hair because it became too damaged after I started bleaching it. My blonde hair was too much to handle as I started experiencing hair loss, and I had to go back to my natural color in order to let it heal. That's when I decided to never dye my hair again. However, I was met with comments such as, "Bleach it again, it looked better before," and I've never felt worse about myself. The one that really got to me was, "Can I tell you something honestly? You looked better before. Everyone liked you more when you were blonde. Get over it and bleach it again." The person who said it was my boyfriend. I was stunned and I didn't know what to say or do. I was really insecure about my looks just a few years ago, and this had me thinking, does hair color really determine how pretty I am? What should I do? I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel like I have to do something in order to please him or others. I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel insecure. Update, he said that he was just joking. Still seems like a red flag to me. Edit, I just want to clarify, I see nothing wrong with preferences. Obviously everyone has preferences and it's a normal thing. What bothers me is the way he said it, even though it could have been prevented with a simple, "I think it looked better blonde, but you're pretty nonetheless." But instead what I got was, and I quote straight from his message, "Can I tell you something honestly?" as a response to an old pic of me where I had blonde hair. Quote, "You looked better before. Everyone I know liked you more when you were blonde. Get over it, bleach it and go back to blonde, please." I don't think it's an opinion or preference. It would have been if he said it nicely, and I would have no issues with it. Edit 2, I dyed my hair brown a month before we started dating. It's not like I dyed my hair during our relationship. We were friends for over a year before that. Yeah, to me this is sounding like a pretty fresh relationship, and it sounds like this guy's just showed OP what he really thinks. Dump this loser, I say. Let's go to the comments. You answered your own question at the end. Tell him he was prettier before he made that comment. Sounds like you also need to lose a couple £100 and dump him. Everyone is allowed to have preferences, but if he's this hurtful and nasty about your friggin' hair colour, is it even worth it? You don't deserve to be with someone that rude, especially when it's over something causing you real damage. Let him go and find someone who fulfills his fantasy, while you go find someone who doesn't ruin your self-image all because you like having hair that doesn't fall out. Say, "That's so interesting that you thought I was prettier as a blonde. I've been getting way more attention from guys as a brunette." He will shut the hell up real quick. Then dump him. He probably has it in his head that having a blonde girlfriend means something symbolic about himself, like it's an accomplishment. While looks play a part in attraction and romantic chemistry, your hairstyle shouldn't be a deal breaker for a serious relationship, especially one that is so high maintenance. I bet if you walk him through some quotes from salons, he would be shook. "Oh, bae, I was hoping you'd say something. I love that you're willing to pay for the upkeep. What a sweet surprise. It's $500 every 3 months. Should we call and get your card on file, or would you rather buy gift cards for the points?" He said that he was just joking. He wasn't joking. He can have preferences about your hair colour. He can tell you his preference. But this, quote, "Everyone liked you more when you were blonde, get over it and bleach it again," is your huge warning sign about who he really is. I get that you have some really low self-esteem, and that causes you to think you can't do better than him, but you can, I promise. Just joking is the coward's excuse. He pushed until he saw you were offended, then took a tiny step back. Don't have sex with this guy. He makes you feel insecure and insults your appearance. Ditch. Yeah, onto an update the next day. So before I proceed, I want to talk more about my reasoning behind my actions and why I decided to do it. For a while now, it felt like I had to be the best version of myself in front of my boyfriend. I kept telling myself it was for myself and that I was the one who wanted to look nice. My skin is breaking out, better cover that up so he doesn't see. Even though I've always avoided wearing makeup during breakouts and never really cared if other people saw it. His comment about my hair bothered me because he disregarded my health and well-being just because he likes it. Again, obviously there's nothing wrong with preferences. I also have preferences and it's completely normal. He has voiced his preferences for blondes before and how he liked my blonde hair, but he never went as far as to be this aggressive about it, especially since he knew how much it damaged both me and my hair. That's the thing. I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel insecure. I don't want to sacrifice my health for someone else's preferences when I myself prefer brunette hair. Also, his joke made me think, if I'd agreed and said, "Yes, I'll bleach my hair again," would he just say he was just joking? No, he wouldn't. I'm not going to go much into the details. I talked to him about it and explained why it bothered me, talked about my experience with blonde hair and how I was experiencing hair loss. He got defensive and started saying how he was only joking and how I'm making a big deal out of it because, and I quote, "you want attention." Yeah, I'd rather be brunette than bald, and I'd rather have healthy hair than a boyfriend. Overall, I want a healthy relationship where I don't feel like I need to live up to someone's expectations in order to please their preferences and have them stay with me, and sadly, this wasn't that relationship. I broke it off after arguing with him, and got called an insecure bee who only wants compliments and cares only about how she looks. Oh, what a prick. The only insecure person in this story is the boyfriend, I'd say. It's just extraordinary to me that people this unfathomably dumb, like the boyfriend, still exist. I'm sure he'll have great luck with whatever girl he ends up with next. Good riddance. Anyway guys, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those ones, thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, cheers.